Hey, I am working on my business plan right now, so this is going to be a working session for my business plan, a little entrepreneur motivation for you. So I'm going to be sharing everything I'm talking about, including my business idea and the components of my business plan and how I am laying it out. I have no fears about you stealing this idea because, at least in my experience, and I've been around some founders and startups, the idea doesn't matter. It's the execution that matters so much. So feel free to listen in on this idea that I have and watch me work it out. So this is the framework that I'm going to be using. So these are the components of the plan that I'm going to use. I have my executive summary, company description, market analysis, the products and services I'm going to be offering, marketing plan, logistics and operations, and then the financial plan. And these are kind of the topics that I'm going to be using based on kind of an amalgamation of different plans. I know there's back and forth on which are best to include, but these are the 7 components that I'm going to include. In addition, I'm going to be measuring this plan against the sense commandments. So these sense commandments come from MJ DeMarco in his Millionaire Fast Lane book. So he is an actual certified millionaire who built a business, several businesses using these commandments. So those are the commandments of control, entry, need, time, and scale. So I'm going to be measuring my business ideas against those commandments because those aspects in a business are key to being able to grow your business. The type of business that I want to develop is very much along those lines. So for example, in MJ's story, he had the option to choose between owning a fleet of limousines or starting a business that sent leads to limo drivers. So owning a fleet of limousines goes against those sense commandments, and sending leads to limousine drivers follows those commandments, the sense commandments. So he opted to choose the business that would sell leads to limousine drivers, and that's how he was able to scale to $1 million. It's not saying that businesses that are beyond $1 million, that businesses that don't follow the sense commandments aren't viable, but he advocates, and I want to follow the path of a sense business. That's all. Okay, so next we are working on, I'm just giving timestamps for you guys. So going back to the business plan, here's my idea. The idea is, so I'm thinking about things that I am good at and that I enjoy doing, and that I feel the world needs more of. So that's important for me, is that the business that I start, I feel like the world needs more of this. And that is what I'm good at, what I enjoy doing is helping people blast through their clutter. And I feel like the world needs more techniques and tactics to help simplify their lives. So the working title of my business is Simplify. This is the idea. So starting with the executive summary. This business, Simplify, is a service to catalog and photograph the contents of your space, allowing you to find out what you really have, decide what to do with it, and ultimately reduce or eliminate the need for storage. So I know people who have storage facilities and are paying $400 or $500 a month and don't even know what they have. They know that maybe in there's some photographs, maybe there's some heirlooms, so they don't want to get rid of the storage unit, but they don't know what else is in there and what to do with it. If they were to know what was in there, they would be able to get rid of it, right? So in that example, it's $1,000, but it's a $500 bill. If they were to use this service, Simplify, to catalog, photograph, and list out the items in their storage unit, they would be able to say that there's a box of photographs and a box of heirlooms, 2 boxes that they're paying $500 per month to store. They'd be able to completely get rid of the storage unit and say the rest is like junk. They don't know, but say like they're like boxes from electronics and old, I was going through my husband's storage unit. They're old, broken store. He has like a bookcase or cleaning things that are in there that you, by this point, are worthless. So you take that one box of photos. So the idea for the service is that someone would come in to the storage unit, list everything, photograph everything, give you that list and those photographs. You would say, oh, that's grandma's wedding album. Those are grandpa's heirloom dishes. Everything else can go. So the service that I would provide with Simplify is merely the labor and the process to go through the space, list out what you have, take pictures, and be done with it. So that's the only service. So that's the executive description. 1 in 5, the statistics that back that up, 1 in 5 Americans have self-storage units. Most people don't know what's in those storage units. Average self-storage fees range from $1,200 to $4,800 yearly. Most storage unit owners have no time or energy to wade through the storage unit to figure out what's in it, let alone decide what to do with it. That's true because you have such an emotional tie to it. So why do you need an external service to come in and deal with this clutter? Because you have the emotional ties, and you have this sort of like, I don't want to say situational blindness where you've seen it so many times. It's your item, you are emotionally attached to it, or you're kind of numb to what to do with it. Having an external service list out and categorize allows you to very dispassionately and logically look at what you have, run down, and decide what to do with it. So that's the executive summary. Company description would be at the moment a sole proprietor LLC to help people deal with their storage needs. Well, to help people categorize their storage contents. And so we'd start with self-storage facilities and then maybe move on to like individual rooms and houses and things like that. So market analysis. The self-storage industry is currently at 58 million in 2023 and is expected to expand at a rate of 7.5%. So it's like 4 to 7%, reaching 89 million by 2030. And the source is Yahoo Finance. So in the next 7 years. So there's a strong growth potential. And I know this, again, anecdotally, I've seen people have stuff. I have stuff. My friends and people I know have stuff. And having a service come in dispassionately and go through it and categorize it would be huge. Now, what we don't do, what this business would not do is organize. We're not an organizing company. We are a cataloging company. List out and photograph, done. So if you wanted help dealing with papers, that's not what we do. If you wanted help organizing your home, not what we do. We just tell you what you have. And I think for me, at least, being able to get in and get out is a valuable needed service. And would allow for greater, I don't want to say greater turnover, but it's a very concrete and measurable product. You get it here, you get these pictures, you get this inventory list. Products and services, that's exactly what we do. So, products and services, detailed photographic and written catalog of the items in your space. Talk more about that in logistics and operations. My vision for how this would work, so I'll talk about logistics and operations now. How this would work is we'd have incoming leads, people interested in the service. We do some digital marketing. People interested in the service would submit a lead. A virtual assistant would take that lead, contact the person, schedule the appointment, and there would be a set team, we call them a scouting field team, that would do a pre-assessment of the job, look over the space, get the dimensions, and kind of gauge approximately how many hours they would think it would take. That's very important, kind of having an idea of that. How many hours you think it would take. Then we'd have an action field team that would go in and do the actual work. In my idea, it would take no more than 4 to 5 hours. So you would get in there, the team would get in there, and I envision like 2 to 3 like college age guys that would get in, and this is my method is the way that I clear space is I take everything out of the space, I clean the space, then you'd have all the stuff, you'd list it out, categorize it, and there would be, so you put it in categories, and then you would make a list, and you take pictures, put everything back, because we don't deal with the stuff, we just give you a list of the stuff and the pictures of it. Then they would complete the job, ideally no more than 4 to 5 hours. You pay the college kids $15, $16 an hour, like the minimum with a little bit extra minimum rate. Ideally, they would get a bonus when the job is complete, so they are motivated to do a good job. But that area of labor is an hourly wage. Then there would be a customer service team that would follow up with a customer to make sure that they're happy, and then gather reviews, positive reviews, leave them on the website. So that is my idea for operations and logistics and how the business would work. Marketing plan would be typical digital marketing, word of mouth, display advertising, Facebook ads, YouTube channel, maybe reviews from client, email marketing, and then local partners. So that would be the marketing plan. Yes. So again, this is at a scale. And then financial plan, that's a part that I haven't really gotten into so much now, because you obviously want to start with a minimum viable product, right? I would want to complete an actual cataloging job and complete that. So that would be the financial section. So that's kind of an overview of my business idea. Now we go into the sense analysis. That's the part that I'm kind of hesitating, because I'm gonna say the big item here is the need for actual physical labor. It is not 100% online. And what I was really thinking about was something more online. However, everything else, the entry, it's not so difficult to enter into, because I feel like anyone could take this idea, like, hey, steal this idea. It's not, I mean, if I look around tomorrow, I am not aware of a service like this that exists. I have seen antiques, like high-end estate liquidation companies that will come in and look through your antiques and value them. That is not this. This is simply a list of everything. I hesitate to use the word category or catalog, because it's not like a catalog, it's a list. So that's how I feel why I feel there's a hole in the market to help like an average person do this. And then pricing would be, I would think you would take whatever, obviously you want it to be, so if it's you want it to break even at least, right? So if you have 2 minimum wage workers and it takes them 4 hours, you would times out whatever, 60, 120, and then multiply that by 4. So 120, 480. Am I doing that math right? $60 times 4. Anyway, so I would say around $1,000 per job, which if I'm the consumer using this service, that's a great deal, because that's 2 months of self-storage, when potentially I could get rid of my storage unit altogether if that is my goal. And that, for me, for the world, is the goal, to have no self-storage units, right? For people to know what they need, and for people to have what they know what they have. I'm all about complete transparency and knowing what you have, and being aware of what you have. So that's my business plan checked against the Sense Commandments. I am in the process of writing this up and getting it down on paper, and actually jumping into it. Again, it's the execution that matters, and my goal is to get a minimum viable product up and going, say within the next, I'll give myself 3 months, but I'd love to do it within the next 2 months. Let's see. All right, thanks for watching. That's my business plan in action. So let me know what you think.